We shall commence this module by discussing the meaning of fiscal policy. The fiscal policy is concerned with the raising of government revenue and incurring of government expenditure. To create revenue and to incur expenditure, the government frames a policy called fiscal policy or budgetary policy. So, the fiscal policy is majorly related to government revenue and government expenditure. Understand the meaning of fiscal policy. Know the main objectives of fiscal policy in India. Understand public expenditure with its meaning and its importance. Know effects of public expenditure on production. Know effects of public expenditure on distribution. Let us now discuss the main objectives of fiscal policy in India. The fiscal policy is intended to accomplish definite objectives as follows. The first objective is development by effective mobilization of resources. The main objective of fiscal policy is to make sure there is rapid economic growth and development. This objective of economic growth and development can be achieved by mobilization of financial resources. The central and state governments in India have used fiscal policy to mobilize resources. The financial resources can be mobilized by taxation. Through successful fiscal policies, the government basically wants to mobilize resources by means of direct taxes as well as indirect taxes, because taxation is the most important source of resource mobilization in India. Public savings. The resources can be mobilized through public savings by decreasing the level of government expenditure and increasing surpluses of public sector enterprises. Next, private savings. Through efficient fiscal measures, for example, tax benefits, the government can collect resources from private sector and households. Resources can be mobilized through government borrowings by the means of treasury bills, issue of government bonds, etc., loans from domestic and foreign parties, and by deficit financing. Second is efficient allocation of financial resources. The central and state governments have tried to create efficient allocation of financial resources. These resources are assigned for development activities, which in general is expenditure on railways, infrastructure, etc., while non-development activities include expenditure on defence, interest payments, subsidies, etc. In general, the fiscal policy ought to guarantee that the resources are allocated for production of goods and services which are socially desirable. Therefore, India's fiscal policy is designed in a way so as to promote production of desirable goods and dampen those goods which are socially undesirable. Next objective is reduction in inequalities of income and wealth. Fiscal policy aims at achieving equity or social justice by decreasing income inequalities in the midst of different sects of the society. The direct taxes like income tax are levied more on the rich people in comparison to lower income groups. Indirect taxes are more in the case of semi-luxury and luxury items, which are more often than not consumed by the upper middle class and the upper class. The government invests an important fraction of its tax revenue in the execution of poverty alleviation programs to advance the situations of poor people in society. One of the major objectives of fiscal policy is to control inflation and stabilize price. Thus, the government always intends to control the inflation by reducing the fiscal deficits, introducing tax saving schemes, productive use of financial resources, etc. The next objective is employment generation. The government is making every possible effort to increase employment in the country through effective fiscal measure. The investment done in infrastructure sector has led to direct and indirect employment. Lower taxes and duties on small scale industrial SSI units motivate more investment and accordingly generate more employment. Many rural employment programs have been carried out by Government of India to solve problems in rural areas. Likewise, self-employment scheme is carried out to give employment to technically qualified people in the urban areas. Another major objective of the fiscal policy is bringing about a balanced regional development. There are many incentives from the government for setting up projects in backward areas such as cash subsidy, concession in taxes and duties in the form of tax holidays, finance at concessional interest rates, etc. Next objective is reducing the deficit in the balance of payment. Fiscal policy attempts to encourage more exports by way of fiscal measures such as exemption of income tax on export earnings, exemption of central excise duties and customs, exemption of sales tax and octroi, etc. The foreign exchange is also preserved by providing fiscal benefits to import substitute industries, imposing custom duties on imports, etc. The foreign exchange earned by means of exports and saved by means of import substitute helps to solve balance of payment problem. In this way, adverse balance of payment can be corrected either by imposing duties or imports or by giving subsidies to export. The objective of fiscal policy is also to increase the rate of capital formation so as to accelerate the rate of economic growth. An underdeveloped country is trapped in vicious danger cycle of poverty majorly due to capital deficiency. In order to increase the rate of capital formation, the fiscal policy must be efficiently designed to encourage savings and discourage and reduce spending. The fiscal policy intends to increase the national income of a country. This is because fiscal policy helps in the process of capital formation. This results in economic growth, which in turn increases the GDP, per capita income and national income of the country. Another objective is development of infrastructure. Government has put emphasis on the infrastructure development for the purpose of achieving economic growth. The fiscal policy measure like taxation creates revenue to the government. A section of the government's revenue is invested in the development of infrastructure. Due to this, all sectors of the economy get a boost. Lastly, fiscal policy attempts to encourage more exports by means of fiscal measures such as exemption of income tax on export earnings, exemption of sales tax and octroi, etc. Foreign exchange provides fiscal benefits to import substitute industries. The foreign exchange collected by means of exports and saved by means of import substitutes help to solve balance of payment problem. Next, we will discuss the meaning of public expenditure and its importance. The expenses incurred by the governments for its own maintenance, preservation and welfare of the economy as a whole is referred to as public expenditure. In other words, it refers to the expenses of public authorities, central, state and local governments in a federation for the satisfaction of collective needs of the citizens or for promotion of economic and social welfare. The development functions include education, public health, social security, irrigation, canal, drainage, roads, buildings, etc. The major cause of increase in the public expenditure is nothing but these developmental functions. Hence, the study of public expenditure has become very significant in the study of public finance. The two major reasons for the same are A. The economic activities of the state has increased manifold, and B. Nature and volume of public expenditure have greatly affected the economic life of the country in a different manner. That is, it has affected production and distribution and general level of economic activities. In the laissez-faire era, the state was assigned a very limited role to play. The functions assigned to the state were based on the principle of least interference, or that government is the best which spends the least. According to the classical school led by Adam Smith, restricted the functions of the state to justice, police and arms. They considered government expenditure wasteful and that money could be used much well by private persons than by the government. Adam Smith, in his magnum opus The Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, observed that the sovereign has three main duties to perform as a. To protect the society from violence and invasion of other independent societies, b. To protect against injustice, and c. Erecting and maintaining certain public works. According to David Ricardo, if you want a peaceful government, you must reduce the budget. J.B. Say opined that the very system of all plans of finance is to spend little, and the best of all taxes is that which is least in amount. In recent time, public expenditure has been increased enormously. The main reason is that the functions of governments have been increased manifold. The modern states are no more police states but welfare states. Adolf Wagner, a German economist, presented his famous law of increase of state activities. He states that comprehensive comparison of different countries and different times show that among progressive people with which alone we are concerned, an increase regularly takes place in the activity of both central and local governments. This increase is both intensive and extensive. Professor R. A. Musgrave, the 20th century economist, advocated public expenditure since a government is forced to do many activities such as: first, activities to secure a reallocation of resources; second, redistribution activities; third, stabilizing activities; and fourth, commercial activities. Governments constantly undertake new functions while they perform both old and new functions more efficiently and completely. In this way, the economic requirements of the people to an increasing extent and in a satisfactory function are satisfied by the central and local governments. Causes for the increase in public expenditure. One of the most important features of the present century is the phenomenal growth of public expenditure. Few important reasons for the growth of public expenditure are as follows. First, welfare state. Modern states are no more police states. They have to look into the welfare of the masses, for which the state has to perform a number of functions. They have to carry out and generate employment opportunities, social security measures and other welfare activities. All these need massive expenditure. Second, defense expenditure. Modern warfare is very costly. Wars and possibilities of wars have forced the nation to be equipped with arms all the time. This causes a large amount of public expenditure. Third, growth of democracy. The form of democratic government is highly expensive. The conduct of elections, continuation of democratic institutions like legislatures, etc. leads to large amount of expenditure. Fourth, growth of population. Tremendous growth of population necessitates enormous spending on the part of the modern governments. For meeting the needs of the growing population, more educational institutions, food materials, hospitals, roads and other amenities of life are to be provided. Fifth, rise in price level. Rises in prices have considerably enhanced public expenditure in recent years. Higher prices mean higher spending on the part of the government on items like payment of salaries, purchase of goods and services and so on. Sixth, expansion public sector. Countries aiming at socialistic pattern of society have to give more importance to public sector. Consequent development of public sector enhances public expenditure. Seventh, Development expenditure for implementing developmental programs like 5-year plans. Modern governments are incurring huge expenditure. 8th, public debt. Along with debt rises the problem like payment of interest and repayment of the principal amount. This results in an increase in public expenditure. 9th, grants and loans to state government and UTs. It is an important feature of public expenditure of the central government of India. The government provides assistance in the form of grants and aid and loans to the states and to the UTs. 10th, poverty alleviation programs. As poverty ratio is high, huge amount of expenditure is required for implementing alleviation programs. Classification of public expenditure. Public expenditure has been classified into A. Revenue expenditure and B. Capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure is current expenditure. For example, it includes administrative expenditure and maintenance expenditure. This expenditure is of a recurring type. Capital expenditure is of capital nature and is incurred once for all. It is non-recurring expenditure. For example, expenditure on building multi-purpose projects or on setting up big factories like steel plants, money spent on land, machinery and equipment. Revenue budget or revenue account is related to current financial transactions of the government which are of recurring in nature. Revenue budget consists of the revenue receipts of the government and the expenditure is met from these revenues. Revenue account is concerned with taxes, duties, fees, fines and penalties, revenue from government estates, receipts from government commercial concerns and other miscellaneous items, and the expenditure therefrom. Revenue receipts include receipts from taxation, profits of enterprise, other non-tax receipts like administrative revenue, fees, fines, special assessment, etc., gifts, grants, etc. Revenue expenditure includes interest payment, defense expenditure, major subsidies, pensions, etc. The capital account is related to the acquisition and disposal of capital assets.